Mike, it's a perfect day and we're on the road and we're driving along quite happily, but then, bang, something bad happens. So, what happens then?
Well, that depends on every individual, but what you're describing can be called a trauma, right? But let's just unpack that a little bit, because often people think traumas are just a bad thing that can happen. Sometimes traumas are good things that don't happen often enough. And that's important to actually know that there's two things involved there. But let's say we're driving down the road, something happens. Let's say a kangaroo comes out of nowhere, right, literally on the road, hits my car. I end up going off into the bushes. I hop out of the car's still drivable, but it's made a mess. How do I feel? I'm not going to feel happy. I'm going to feel somewhat anxious. I'm going to feel somewhat concerned and worried about the future, finances wise.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a journey. Insurance companies may be, off the road, can't drive there until you get another car or whatever. Yeah. So it can be very disruptive. But you mentioned also that it's when good things don't happen often enough. Now, what's an example, say, in the aged sector when that's happening?
Well, for instance, recently my mum was in an aged care centre, and just 2 doors down from her there was a lady who used to be in our neighbourhood, and one of the things my mum noticed as she walked past the room one day was this lady was sitting there not being taken appropriately care of. So she went in and had a chat to her, and this lady didn't have dementia or anything like that. She was quite okay, just never had family to care for her. Problem was, she noticed that this lady was being left too often wet, not being taken to the bathroom. Now that's an example of something that good that should happen that wasn't happening. Right?
Yeah.
And that would leave that person being distressed, but also when the family found out, they were quite distressed. So they come and spoke to the staff, and it got sorted, eventually got sorted. But that was something that should never have happened, right? She should have been taken care of on a regular basis.
So whether the bad thing has happened or the good thing is not happening enough, there's consequences that people then have to manage.
Yes, yeah. And some of those consequences are emotional consequences, some are psychological, how we think about life, how we think about ourselves. I mean, one of the things that happens when people don't have things go the way, like we're saying, going down the road of life and something bang happens out of the blue. We didn't expect it to happen. It could be a bad thing, or it could be one of those good things that doesn't happen often enough. It can cause us to question ourselves, a sense of shame. What's wrong with me that this has happened? Why has this happened to me? That's a fairly normal response, right?
Yep.
And when people feel that, that can tap into other things that have happened in their life, particularly when we get on in years, right? Because we've got a lot of experience of things happening, and
Or
most
not happening.
or not happening, as the case may be. That's right. And some of that can be because in the past we have had a series of bad things happen, or not enough good things happening. So that gets laid down in our memory as, oh, we deserve this, or, well, I should have known that was going to happen to me, right? That can filter shame for us, that we're not good enough. And that has all sorts of implications to how we feel, how we think, and then, of course, how we behave in any given situation.
Yeah. So what happens on our road in life is often unexpected.
Yeah.
And it can be a good thing that we expect or a bad thing we didn't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.